The following is a discussion on the Bhagavad Gita as it is, 6th chapter, text number 20 through 25, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on June 23rd, 1976, at the New Vrindavan Farm Community.
But the Shakti, the energy is coming from the Supreme. It's like here we find this place is shadow, and that place is sunshine. Both these places are due to the sun. When there is no sun, there is no such distinction. Because this is shining, sunny, and this is shadow. So, this distinction is there so long we do not know the real source. But if we know the real source, we can understand that this distinction is temporary. Actually, the energy is coming from the Supreme. So, shadow has come from Supreme, and light has also come from Supreme. So there is no distinction, ultimately. Just like earring, golden, manufactured from gold, and the gold which is not manufactured. So this distinction, manufactured and non-manufactured, secondary. But really, the earring is also gold, and the lump of gold is also gold. So why should we say that earring is false? It is also gold. So this, in relationship with the Supreme Source, Janmada Sajata, there is no such distinction. In another place, while Vyasdeva was instructed by Narad, he said, Idang Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetara. This Vishwa, the Virat Rup, is also Bhagavan. But it appears different from him. Just like the shadow appears different from the sun. But actually, taking the central point of emanation, it is different manifestation of tree. There are so many varieties. One is trunk, one is branch, one is twig, one is leaf, one is... So the varieties are there, but the tree is one, the root. So ultimately, there is no variety, only one. Sadbram Khalidam Brahma. But the difference is, the Mahavadis, they abruptly say everything is one. Not everything is one. The trunk is not one with the leaf. But ultimately, because the root is the cause, so there is no difference between the trunk and the leaf. This is Achinta Bhedaved Brother. Simultaneously one and different. On the whole, everything is the Supreme Personality of God. Maya tasamidam saddam jagat abhaksam massani sarvabhutani naham tesu. Why should we think this world is mithya when it is created by God? Does God create anything false? No. When it is created by God, there is no such thing. When you think that I create some business, some factory, that is my pleasure. But if somebody else thinks it is for his pleasure, that is Maya. The world is created by God. He has got some motive. So if the world cosmic manifestation is utilized for his purpose, then it is spiritual. Otherwise it is material.
Then in the seventh canto, the second volume, the first chapter in that volume, Prahlad Maharaj is talking how the studying of the three Vedas is external, and it includes knowledge, though, of education and self-realization. But he considers it material because it's external study of the Vedas. I don't understand that.
Anything external is material.
Self-realization is included in that list of education and self-realization and other items.
Yes, self-realization, simply understanding I am not this matter, is also external because there is chance of fall down. But when you are actually engaged in Krishna service, that is positive platform of self-realization.
Brahmameti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti, Satyate, Brahmameti.
Different stages of self-realization.
Sometimes, Srila Prabhupada, when we explain that our activity is spiritual, what we are doing is spiritual, just like we say the quality of the tape recorder becomes spiritualized when it's used in Krishna service. The materialists, they don't understand. They say, well, the tape recorder will also break. The tapes will also be burned up sometime.
That's all right. It will go to Krishna. Breaking, where it will go?
Well, they say the chemicals again become
That's chemical. Where it will go? Jatavai mani bhutani jayante jasmin sangvisanti. Everything is created from Krishna, again it returns to Krishna.
Then they say then we needn't play Krishna conscious music, we might as well play rock and roll, if it is going back to Krishna.
And that is Maya. This is meant for Krishna service. As soon as you do anything else, then it is Maya. Maya is also Krishna's Maya. Like Vijayasa Gunami, Mama Maya. Maya is also Krishna's. But under Maya we suffer, under Krishna we enjoy.
So if we engage everything here in Krishna's service, then the atmosphere will change.
Yes.
They can notice the change in the atmosphere.
That is real atmosphere. Sarupena Bhavasthi. Mukti means to stay in the original form.
Srila Prabhupada, I've heard that you use the example that spirit has form, and therefore the body also has similar form, just as a hand has a form in a glove. It's the hand with similar form. So how can we understand that the trees have a certain form that is their spirit in the form of a tree?
Yes.
Then how do we explain the transmigration of soul?
So this outward is the form. What is the difference? Discuss.
The question says this human body has a human form. We say because this body has a form, the soul also must have form.
No?
Talking about the transmigration.
Just as the glove has a certain form because the hand is shaped like that. The material body of the human has that form because the spirit is in that form. And the tree has that form because the spirit is in that form.
Your difficulty is that the form is fixed up.
Yeah.
That is not. Because Krishna appears in so many forms. Everything is spiritual. So, what do you think?
Well, the form in the spiritual sky is not absolute either. We can take different forms in the spiritual sky.
Yes, there are also many forms, but all of them are spiritual. The Vrindavan, there is tree, there is Yamuna water, there is land, there is cow, there is cup, there is ropes, gopis, they are all spiritual. Just like from earth, you make many forms, but that earth. You make pots, you make dolls, but they're all art. Similarly, in spiritual world, there are many forms, they're all spiritual. What is the difference?
Does that form ever change? That form changes?
Yes.
Krishna is young and then he's a little older.
Generally does not. One likes this type of form. Santodasa, Sakravasaryamas.
That change is available to anyone to progress from Shanta to Daksha.
That change is not material change. The spiritual bliss is there, either in this form or that.
You said that if we serve Krishna, we will enjoy, and if we serve Maya, then we suffer. How can we get over our desire to serve Maya and enjoy separately from Krishna?
This is when we, in the material world, when we try to enjoy, we suffer. In the material where we suffer, when we try to enjoy, we suffer. And how we get over our desire. And when we serve Krishna, we become happy. But how will we get over our desire to serve Maya? The attachment is strong. He says, how will we get over the desire to serve Maya, to try to enjoy ourselves in this material world?
Serve Krishna.
It says here that young labdva chaparam labam manyante nadikam tataha. One obtaining actual service of Krishna. When one tastes the service of Krishna, then he sees any other gain. He does not consider anything else. Established thus, one departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. So when you actually taste the service of Krishna, then you won't consider anything else to be worthy of your effort. But and when we do think something else to be worthy of our effort, then it means that we're not really becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness. We're not developing. We should try to develop to that point. We have to develop. Prabhupada said this is the test of Krishna consciousness, that he will not want to depart from Krishna consciousness to enjoy himself in material nature. And when one still wants to do that, that means he hasn't advanced to that point of stability in Krishna consciousness. Dhritavrata, who's completely fixed in his service. Avastiti. Thus, yatra stitaha na chalati. When one is situated there, he doesn't depart from that. He doesn't want to go out from that. We have to reach that point.
So Srila Prabhupada, if at this platform we are still desiring to depart from Krishna's service and enjoy, and then we have not yet tasted devotional service. What is it that we have tasted that is keeping us temporarily connected to Krishna?
That is the Vedic injunction. You keep yourself connected with Krishna, then you will develop the taste. Just like jaundice patient does not taste sugar as sweet. But if he continues to take sugar candy, then he will have the real taste of sugar candy. Sweet, not bitter. So he has to continue to eat sugar candy continually, Samanam Kirtan. Then he'll have to take.
But the patient must be intelligent to keep, even though he does not want.
Patient is always rascal, fool. You cannot expect him to come in. He must agree to the physician's direction. That is it. He must know that he is diseased. He must follow the instruction of the physician. That much will help. Unless one is rascal, he does not fall sick. As soon as you violate the hygienic principles, he becomes sick. One commits sinful activities on account of ignorance. So therefore, the best advancement of civilization is not to open hospitals, but to give them a lesson so they may not fall sick and go to hospital. That is real, but they do not know. They keep the mass of people in ignorance. They fall sick and they come to hospital. A number of hospitals increase, they think it is advantage. This is their idea. So even the Christian religious person, they also open hospital to give relief to the patient. But that is not the program. The program is why he should fall sick and come to the hospital. Precaution is better than cure. One comes to the hospital for cure, but why not take the precaution so that he may not have to come to the hospital for cure? That is Vedic civilization. They have different prescribed rules and regulations so that a person may not fall sick. The modern idea is that let them fall sick. We have got hospital, we said treat him. And he'll be cured. But he is cured, again he falls sick. Very, very well. They have no program for precaution. They have program for cure. But actually, precaution is better than cure. We are taking precaution. The other fools, rascals, are thinking what these people are doing. They have no hospital, to have no this program, that according to them. Just like our Vivekananda, he prescribed Daritanaran Seva. The same thing, hospital. You kill one animal and the hospital patient is given the meat for improvement of the health. But he does not know that this is not curing, he is becoming implicated in his karma. He has to be killed again and eaten by the other animal. That he does not know. We do not accept karma fall. The result of fruitive activity, they do not accept. But you have to accept. There is no excuse. If you contaminate some disease, you must suffer from the disease. There is no excuse. We are karma. You have to enjoy or suffer the result of karma. Karma bandhana. But when you act for Krishna, then you are mukta. Jagyatha karma, annatra karma. Karma must be there. If you act for Krishna, then it is all right. And if you act for your sense gratification, then there is bondage. If you do not take education, if you remain fools and rascals, then you will suffer and create disturbance for others also. Therefore, everyone must be educated, good citizen. It is good for him, good for others. So Gandhi.
Sa nishchayena yoktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kamangs tyaktva sarvan asheshataha manasaivindriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Translation. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with undeviating determination and faith. One should abandon, without exception, all material desires born of false ego, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. Purport. The yoga practitioner should be determined, and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. One should be sure of success at the end, and pursue this course with great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. success is sure for the rigid practitioner. Regarding Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte shadbir bhakti prasiddhyati. Quotation, quote, the process of Bhakti Yoga can be executed successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, perseverance, and determination by following the prescribed duties in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in activities of goodness. Unquote. As for determination, one should follow the example of the sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. A sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its waves. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her eggs. The ocean did not even consider her appeal, so the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. She began to pick out the water in her small beak, and everyone laughed at her for her impossible determination. The news of her activity spread, and at last Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of Lord Vishnu, heard it. He became compassionate toward his small sister bird, and so he came to see the sparrow. Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus Garuda at once asked the ocean to return her eggs, lest he himself take up the work of the sparrow. The ocean was frightened at this, and returned the eggs. Thus the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda. Similarly, the practice of yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga in Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job, but if anyone follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help, for God helps those who help themselves.
Now, question.
So is there ever, for someone whose determination wavers and slackens here and there, is there ever a point where the neophyte devotee is in danger of just forgetting everything and tumbling completely backwards?
Everyone is neophyte. You should practice determination. If you cannot practice, then why should you enter into this association? Let him remain alone. One who has entered with the determination that I must practice. So if he cannot practice, then why this makes so? That I belong to Krishna consciousness movement. I am initiated. Why this first? He must practice. He determines that by practicing I will be successful. That is one. He has no determination. Why should he make a show? Dhirabrata. Bhajante mam dhirabrata. Dhirabrata, that is one. Determination. When one is determined, his success is sure. If he is not determined, then success or failure.
Can one develop determination gradually?
Very gradually. When you promise before your spiritual master that no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, why should you fall down? If you have no deep determination, how should you promise in presence of the deity, fire, spiritual master, Vaishnava? Why do you make this fuss if you have no determination? If you want to make it a first, that depends on you. But you should not.
When we make that promise,
Yes, you should not fall down. That is determination. That is gentleman's determination. That I have given my promise. Why should I fall down? But that is determination. I must respect the promise. That is called Dirabhat. So he will success. Where is the difficulty? There's no difficulty. But if you want to cheat, there is another. If we have no determination, we should not take up this land. Therefore, chance is given that stay with her for 6 months or 1 year. Be determined. Then be initiated. If you are not determined, what is the use of false initiation?
sometimes this weakness seems to be...
The weakness, there is to rectify weakness. Why you give any importance to weakness? Weakness is weakness, rectify it.
His promise is the minimum determination. His promise of following 4 regular principles, chanting 16 hours daily, that is minimum determination. Then from there, it must increase.
Initiation means minimum, just beginning. That is the dictionary meaning, initiation. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse. Saddha sabde vishya sudhira nishcha Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma kritaha. Explain. You understand? Saddha sabde vishya sudhira nishcha Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma kritaha.
The word shraddha means faith. So by the word faith, we mean firm determination or conviction. Shraddha shabde vishvas
sudhira
nishchoy. Vishvasa means faith, which is sudridha, very sudridha. Dridha means firm, and sudridha means very firmly. Nishchoy. Nishchoy is used here also. Sanishchayena yoktavyo. The yoga is to be engaged in, applied with firm
faith. The faith. Nishchay means conviction.
Conviction. Krishna
Bhakti koile.
Krishna bhakti koile sevak krita karma.
Karma karma krita hoy.
And if one performs service to Krishna, then everything else becomes accomplished. Everything else becomes accomplished. If one renders service to Krishna, then automatically everything else, one has no obligations to the material world.
Otherwise, why Krishna will say, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekang saranam vraja? Because by that action, everything will be done. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekang. That means he's cheating. There are so many other occupations. Say, Desha dharma, Samaja dharma, Brahman dharma, Kshatriya dharma, medical dharma, lawyer dharma. You can manufacture so many. Dharma means occupational duties. But if you take only one occupational duty to serve Krishna, all things will be included. Mamekang saranam. This is instance. So, to accept this principle means firm determination, firm conviction. Yes, if I serve Krishna, then all my other duties will be automatically done. This is firm conviction. By one stroke, I will kill so many birds.
Anartha nirviti. Rupa Goswami says, bhajana kriya, then anartha nirviti. Then all the unwanted things. So.
That's all beginning with Krishna bhakti koile, sarva karma krita. So bhakti beginning is adu sadhya tatu sadhu sangha. Bhajana kriya, anartha nirviti. The material world means simply creating unnecessary duties. Simply. Anartha. Any material activities you take, analyze, it is simply useless. Therefore they are called anartha. Anartha nivittisya. Take for example, we say, no meat eating. What is the difficulty there? I've seen in the airplane, they eat meat, a little piece, not a lump. But because everyone is eating little, we require huge number of slaughterhouses. But if one decides, I have got so many preparation to eat, so why shall I eat little beef? Let me forgo. Immediately he is saved from so many sinful activities. It is not that he will die. If he does not eat a little piece of meat, he will die. He will not die. We are not dying, we don't take. Similarly, everyone, without eating meat, he can live very nicely. There is a fourth principle, there is no difficulty. But on this fourth principle, the whole world is merged into sinful activities. That is called anartha, unnecessary. That is material condition. Unnecessarily creating trouble. There is no necessity. But on account of ignorance, foolish association, sinful life, more and more. going on. Andha jatandhi rupuniyamana. And the Vedas encourage, yes, to do this. Enjoy life. What is enjoyment? If anyone sees slaughterhouse, will he enjoy? If he visits a slaughterhouse, is it enjoyment? But he takes it enjoyment. This is called unnecessary, without any meaning. Mad, just like a madman acts without any meaning. A monkey acts without any meaning. This is called unnecessarily creating disturbance. Anartha upasamam sakshat bhakti yogam madhukhaji. If you take to Krishna consciousness, then anartha will be finished. Anartha nivrittisya. We are no more interested in unnecessary things. Illicit sex. One side they are encouraging contraceptive method. So why not stop illicit sex? Then automatically there is contraceptive method. So one side they will encourage contraceptive method, unlimited, unrestricted sex. This is their civilization. Why not teach him not to practice illicit sex? Then everything is done automatically. There's no need of contraceptive method. If one is trained up to indulge in sex only for begetting nice children, there is already contraceptive method. There is no necessity of unnecessarily producing cats and dogs children. So that requires training, determination. The Shastra says you should not become a father if you cannot train up your children to save him from death. Who is the father who is training? To save him from the cycle of birth and death means to make him Krishna conscious. So if you are not yourself Krishna conscious, how you can train up your children to become Krishna conscious? This is determination. But if I cannot train my children to become Krishna conscious and thus avoid the botheration of birth and death, I shall not have sex. That determination will save so many troubles. But that can be done by practice, by engaging the mind in Krishna. It is possible. The more you advance in Krishna consciousness, you lose interest in this sex life. In Vaikuntha there is no sex life, because The sex pleasure is not the foremost pleasure in the Vaikuntha world. The sex pleasure is foremost here in this material world. They have got so much transcendental spiritual pleasure, this sex pleasure, they are astonished. Is that pleasure? Jadavadi, Mama Krishna Padara Vindaya, Nava Nava Dhama. That stage is possible. Still there are so many brahmacharis. So everything depends on practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. That requires determination.
Srila Prabhupada, when one returns to his Swarup, his natural form, how does...
First of all, anartha nivitti. You are accustomed to so many bad habits. First of all, try to rectify it, then talk of Swarup. Where is your Swarup? Simply wasting time. A man is diseased. He is thinking, when I shall be cured, I shall eat, go to this hotel, I shall eat like this. First of all, cure. Then talk of eating this and that. Swarup, when you are cured, that is Swarup. So long you are not cured, what is the use of talking? Swarup. First business is cure yourself. Anartha nivitti, that is anartha. Then Swarup will come. That is a Babaji's. In Vrindavan you have seen Siddha Pranali.
Siddha Pranali, Siddha Deha.
They are smoking and having illicit sex with 12 of women, Swarup, rascal. This is called Sahajya, rascal, condemned. Where is your Swarup? Don't talk unnecessarily. First of all, come to Swarup, then talk of Swarup.
So our motivation should be to get free from birth, disease, old age, and death.
That is already explained. But we must be determined how to execute devotional service. Without determined devotional service, how we can attain that position? What is the use of talking? Utopian. First business is anartha nivitti. Adu suddhya tato sadhu sangha atha bhajana kriya tato anartha nivitti. You adopt this means that you have got full faith that Krishna consciousness will save me. Then you live with devotees who are similarly determined. Then you execute devotional service, then anartha nivitti. You will be free from all this. These are the stages. Then up to anartha nivitti, you have to struggle very hard to determine. And then automatically everything will come. Tato nishtha, tato ruchi, tatha shakti, tato bhava. So before Swarup, anartha nivitti, don't expect all this. Read.
Shanaihi Shanaya Ruparamet Buddhya Dhritigrihitaya Atmasangstam Manah Kritva Nakinchedapi Chintayet.
This is practice.
Translation. Gradually, step by step, with full conviction, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. Purport. By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. This is called pratyahara. The mind being controlled by conviction, meditation, and cessation of the senses should be situated in trance or samadhi. At that time there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in the material conception of life. In other words, although one is involved with matter as long as the material body exists, one should not think about sense gratification. One should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of the Supreme Self. This state is easily attained by directly practicing Krishna consciousness.
Srila Prabhupada, before you said the patient has no intelligence.
Therefore he requires spiritual master guidance, because he is asked, what is the use of accepting a spiritual master? If you want to be cured independently, what is the use of calling a physician, consulting a physician? You do it yourself. Yes, God.
The difficulty is that we cannot understand, we cannot feel what pleases Krishna now, yet we can feel what pleases us, and that is the difficulty.
You have no feeling that everyone knows. Therefore you have to carry out the order of spiritual master. That's all.
If we try to please Krishna with all of our service and activities, will that automatically bring pleasure to the self?
You cannot please Krishna directly. You please your spiritual master, Krishna will be pleased. If you want to please directly Krishna, that is not possible. That is concoction. You cannot please. That is not possible. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasad. You have to please your spiritual master, then Krishna is. Don't jump. Gurumukha padma vakka chittete koriya yakka. What is that? Song in Delhi sing. What is that?
By the words of the spiritual master, our mind becomes conclusive.
Arna koriya mane. Don't concoct. Don't you sing Delhi? Arna koriya mane. Don't manufacture ideas. That is dangerous. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches by his example. Guru more murkha dekhi karila sas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Precaution Saraswati that my spiritual master saw me a fool number one. So he has chastised me. That don't try to read Vedanta, chant Hare Krishna, try and do. Yes. Yeah, he has come to disturb. This sound is purposefully created.
Yes, sir.
Just to show that he has a motorcycle. Or what is the purpose?
They have given us trouble sometimes.
Huh?
They have given us trouble sometimes.
Demons. No. They don't like us.
They are doing better than before, but still they are somewhat envious.
Everywhere. This world is like that. Even the father will give trouble, Prahlad Maharaj.